There's my also art that I just drew up or drew together. So my name is Janne Käki. I work at Futurize as a designer slash developer. Not that much technical guys, sort of, but I know how to make some kind of apps. And today I just wanted to share this one idea that sort of what I consider a user interface pattern for reducing map complexity. For quite many apps that I've been working with, there's this idea that we want to show stuff where it's located. Maybe we want to also show it as a list or something. That's quite common, as I will show. But when there are many things, like here we have all the public transit stops in Helsinki area. So if I zoom a little bit out, it's starting to look a little bit crowded down there. So Mr. Rockham, how many of you know him? He's this, I guess, 12th or 13th century monk who had this idea, very strong idea, that everything unnecessary should be cut off. So here, instead of maybe showing all that clutter, we could figure out how to minimize it so that it's still consumable. This is, by the way, the new iPhone mini, if you're wondering. It's pretty launched this autumn still. So here, one application called the Restaurant Day, which shows for those special days in the year when everybody can find a restaurant. So, of course, it makes sense to show them both on the map, and the very same information as we see currently here is on the other tab as a list. Then here, something okay, back in business. So here again, this is sort of for maybe suburbs or parts of the city, this kind of community where you can offer your stuff for loan and offer your services, so on. Again, it makes sense to show them as a list as well as on a map. And here it's sort of a flip side. It's basically a different filter to the same information. It goes. It is really scary now. Okay. Third one we've done at work is called Osuma. It's sort of this application. Here again we see, for instance, all the restaurants that are in the phone book. They are quite many. So it happens that it looks crowded, but here it's starting to show that we don't need to show them all individually. We can sort of figure out what might be the sort of granularity we want to use. So we can sort of start to think that we have these annotations on the map, and we sort of start dividing the map into smaller and smaller cells, and sort of, if they are close enough together, they could be just based on coordinates being in the same ballpark, or it could be the same address or something, but we start clustering them. So that, okay, those two here, we could present them with one annotation, which then holds the information, what are all the individual things that are in the same square. Here we have even more. Whereas here it's enough that, okay, they are all in their respective squares, so it's no point in mashing those together. And how it could be done, here's a very simple example. So we start with rough coordinates, sort of. Maybe latitude could be rounded till 3 decimals and longitude could be rounded to 2, for instance. We use that as a key to map all those, so that there is only one place in our dictionary for each of those rough coordinate alternatives. And then sort of when I go through all the things that I want to add on my map, I start checking, okay, is there already something in those rough coordinates? If it doesn't, or if it's the same one from a previous run of fetching information and so on, we just put it, the very annotation to the dictionary behind those rough coordinates. If there is something and it's a normal annotation, a different one, then we want to make a cluster, sort of a super annotation. And we put those two annotations there as the beginning. And it could be that it's only those two annotations, but then if we go on, we might find there is already a cluster in this rough coordinate place. So then we just add the new annotation there and be happy with that one. How are we going to show with them? So here's an example from the Osmo application. This is a little bit custom, so the one that is a little bit larger there, it's sort of pulsating in the real app, but it's the restaurant we want to view. If there's only one, we show this kind of bubble up there. We could obviously show the normal annotation caption there too. If we have something that contains, for instance, 5 annotations, so I made this kind of construction where I actually show them inside the bubble, and you can select them from there. That one starts pulsating and show the exact information in the same place. So you can go through those like they would be on the map, but they are all tappable by themselves. If there are very many, like 10, that's now the maximum, so it will then put several 10 item annotations there, but I actually did this that, okay, maybe it could be smart to only limit it to how much can you show there, 8 maybe. But I wanted to experiment on this kind of scroll view. So actually, if the caption views left accessory, it's a scroll view that only scrolls horizontally, and when you select it, it sort of initially scrolls all the way from the right to the left so that you understand that, okay, it's something you can move. And as far as I've seen people use it, it works nicely. The problem is that it doesn't exactly fade out of those things there. Maybe it could be possible if you just code the graphical fade out somehow, but somehow you just have to deal with them clipping quite uglily if you just sort of move the map and see the edge there. But then again, you can use the same annotation views that as you used in the map, but obviously you need to grab those tabs now by yourself by gesture recognizer or something, because the map won't even know that those annotations exist. Then I had this idea that why not use this normal detail disclosure button there, so that when we already have this list view, why not employ it here, so that if you really want a useful view with a cluster, you could just get a list with just those restaurants in that address, for instance. And then you go back to the map if you want. And well, that's it. Quite a simple idea, but something I'd like to see in more apps that tend to cluster with all this stuff that you can't really use if you have 10 pins in the same location and you try to tap through them. It's just not fun. So, that was it. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, just an implementation question. You did that way that you have one annotation for a cluster.
Yeah.
Right? Have you tried doing it by using mapkit delegates, just what's it called, view for annotation callback, so you would return just one view for every annotation at one place, so you would keep all the annotations to the map view, but would return one view for all the annotations in one cluster.
Oh, so that
would that work? I've never tried doing that. It just occurred to me that it might work.
Might. Never occurred to me before. Great idea. So if I understand correctly, you'd sort of have only normal kind of annotations. You won't have a cluster class.
Yeah.
And you just sort of for this
map all the annotations in one cluster to one view.
Yeah. Then when you select it, somehow you should then.
Yeah, because it's just a UI view. You could have it referred all the annotations and so on.
Yeah, then you just need to somehow figure out that, okay, now this is representing many,
yeah.
So you need to still show the details in some more custom way.
Yeah.
Might work. Let me try it out. Thanks. Any other comments?
One thing more, you have the 3 decimals for the longitude and 2 for latitude. Why?
That's a good question. It's only a sort of hihapakio in Finnish. It's just something I pulled off a Stetson, but why there was a difference is because at this place on the globe that we live, so a change in the, I always mix this up, but in the latitude, if you move from north to south, a number means a lot more than it means on this west-east direction.
Okay.
It's roughly double.
Yeah.
Not tenfold, but
yeah.
double. Yeah.
That was just a like. It's not something that has a scientific background. Good question.
So where do you put the annotation, like for the group? Are you making some kind of average or just in the middle of the
Yeah, that's
square?
another
or?
really good question that I didn't have here. It's actually just calculating the average of all
Okay.
those. It's one idea. It could be in the middle, but or somehow if they all have the same nominal address, street address or something, it could just reverse calculate that maybe. There are many options, I think.
Or are you actually using this rough coordinates just as a location of this cluster annotation?
Yeah, that could be. There's only one problem. Because now I'm actually, I use rough coordinates for clustering, but I don't place the clusters in the rough coordinates because this is again an opinion question if you like it or not, but it's sort of when we have this Helsinki center with all the restaurants here. So if we had only the rough coordinates, they all align in a grid, which is very unnatural on the map.
Oh, that's right.
So that's why I wanted a little bit more organic
Yeah,
placement for them. Even if it's maybe so that some that are clustered here would be located maybe here or somewhere. Not exactly that one, but another idea might be that if you choose cluster, if you show a detailed map where you have the exact locations with a very sort of zoom level that you all see the exact block of buildings or something. Yeah.
I just was thinking like about this Photos app. Like in there you have places. All of you have tried that. And like if you zoom out far enough, you see only few annotations, and then like as you keep them zooming, like you see them like multiplying there, showing exact places. So that's like a bit of what you're doing, but you're like, I get like what you tried, I guess, to do. You tried to show somehow to visualize the cluster. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then one idea, I don't know, like it's again about opinions. Like, what do you do when the user taps on the cluster itself? One idea might be just to kind of to zoom in on the next level where the cluster opens up, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything else. Basically, you don't have to create the view itself.
It's a good idea, but typically I've been involved with the same problem for an application for Nokia for WRC, so the rally championships, and typically there are tags that are nearly the same coordinate, so it doesn't make sense to zoom that close. They are like 5 meters apart or something. So you always need to have that special case still, that when they are at the almost exact same coordinate, how do you represent that? So zooming in is a good idea, and we did that, but it isn't enough.
Okay, so sometimes it might work, but
Yeah.
not in like in general case.
Yeah, but that's how Apple has decided to do it, so maybe it works for many people at many times.
Well, the Photos application is a bit different because you don't ever want to see just one coordinate. You are always trying to browse a group of photos, and they have slightly different coordinates each, but you are trying to find a bunch of them. So they actually end up having a like group always.
Yeah, thanks. Great comment. Any other?
Have you patented this? so it's free to use.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
It's
I will
free for
probably
stealing. It's like something that's been on the App Store for maybe half a year now in this application.
I will probably steal it then. So.
Yeah. Feel free. I'd like to see it in more applications.
Okay.
Only one thing I really don't like about this sort of hack that I place it as the callout views sort of accessories, that you get this gap here that's reserved for the title. Maybe you could get rid of it, but somehow there it's starting to be annoying sort of, because it's empty space that doesn't convey any meaning. Just a minor problem. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We could show zoomed in map in the callout.